Three Fires tribes. Think about this while you read. Which tribe lived where you live now? What did they call themselves? Who were Gigi and Nabik's neighbors? The Ojibwe shared the land with the Ottawa and the Potawatomi. The Ottawa was also called Ottawa or Ottawa. All the names mean the same people. The tribe lived in the northwest lower peninsula. Ottawa comes from the word Ottawa or Ottaway, which means to trade. The Ottaway traded corn, sunflower seeds, and tobacco with other tribes. Trading has always been important here. People still trade or exchange things with each other. People trade something they have plenty of for something that is scarce. If it is scarce, it does not have much of it. A Michigan tribe might have copper nearby. They might trade it for a buffalo robe from a tribe in the West. Once the Ottawa and the Huron lived in East in Canada. Then they moved when other tribes attacked them. Moving to escape war is one reason to migrate or move. People may migrate to find food. People may migrate to avoid disease. Some things push people away from one place. These things make them want to leave. Other things may pull them to a new place. These things make them want to move there. The Potawatomi, which is right over here, you see in 1640 they moved down and then looped up again. Moved from place to place. By 1750 they settled in southern Michigan. The Potawatomi comes from Ojibwe word for fire. It may mean people of this tribe, people of the place of fire. They often burn their fields before planting. This may be why they have their name. This tribe lived further south than the Ojibwe or Ottawa. Since they lived in a warmer area, the Potawatomi could farm more. The land where they lived also had better soil. This helped their crops. They planted corn, squash, beans, tobacco, melons, and sunflowers. Because of their crops, the Potawatomi did not move their villages often. They did not need to always look for food. So no tribe here. Right around Kalamazoo, you can see we actually did live where the Potawatomi live. And then the Ottawa lived right around here along Lake Michigan. And then the Ojibwe or Chippewa lived in the UP. And here we have 1620 Pilgrims arrive at Plymouth Rock. And then all the way here. Let's turn the page. The three fires. The Potawatomi, Ojibwe, and Ottawa are related. These tribes are sometimes known as the Three Fires. The three tribes all spoke a similar language. They could talk to each other. They lived in the same kind of homes. They did the same things the same way. Sometimes the three tribes worked together. They might do this to protect themselves from an enemy. These are the reasons they are grouped together. In the 1700s and 1800s, the Three Fires were the main tribes living in Michigan. They were not the only tribes, though. Other tribes in Michigan, the Menominee, lived in the Upper Peninsula. The Menominee River is named after them. Menominee is an Ojibwe word for wild rice people. Wild rice was an important food for them. Their customs were much like those of the Ojibwe who lived nearby. Customs mean ways of doing things. It includes foods, habits, and holidays. The Miami lived in the Lower Peninsula near Niles. This was the southwest corner of Michigan. Their area was quite small. Their tribe did not have many people. The Huron tribe once lived in Canada. Later, other tribes attacked them. This forced them to move. The Huron tried different places in Michigan for a new home. They moved near Mackinac Island. Next, they tried Detroit. The tribe, also known as the Wendat or Wyandot, the city of Wyandot is named after them. The Huron spoke a language that was different from those of the Three Fires. They also had a different kind of home. The Three Fires tribes lived in wigwams. The Huron lived in longhouses. Longhouses were larger than wigwams. Several families lived in each one. The Huron sometimes built walls around their villages. They made their villages into small forts. So this is what maybe a Huron lived. The legend of the first maple sugar. What is a legend? A legend is an old story. Legends have been told over and over for a long time. A legend may have some make-believe parts. Let me tell you of a time from long ago. Come to Michigami, the land between the great waters. Springtime was beginning. The last of the snow was melted. Meet an Ojibwe boy called Wasugisik. He enjoyed helping his mother. He was too young to join the men when they went hunting. They would come later. Today his mother asked him to bring water she needed for cooking. Their camp was far from the river. It was a long walk for a young boy. Still, Wasajisik liked walking through the woods. He did not mind. He watched the birds and listened to the deer along the way. Wasajisik filled his birch bark container with water. It was now quite heavy. How could he could see the camp when a rabbit jumped across his path. He looked at the rabbit and tripped. He did not see a big tree root, and it caught his foot. He cried out in surprise. All the water spilled. He fell and hurt his knee. His mother heard him and ran to him. "Are you all right?" she asked. He ran to her, forgetting his container by the tree. Wasajisik said, "Yes, mother, I am fine. I am sorry I spilled all the water you needed." "That is all right, son. We will have stew another night," his mother said. The next day, Laughing Water was walking in the woods. She saw her son's container where it rested against the big maple tree. It was almost full of water. She said to herself, Wasajisik did not spill as much as he thought. She took it home and used it to make deer stew. As the stew cooked, it had a pleasing smell. She had never known her stew to smell like this. At the moment her husband came home, he smelled the stew and took a twig and got a sample and tasted it. A big smile came to his face. He smacked his lips and told Laughing Water how good it was. Now she tested the stew. It was really good. She shared how Wasajisik left his container next to the maple tree. Maybe it had sap from the tree, not water as she thought. Her husband told everyone in the camp about the sweet water from the maple tree. Now, when it is early spring, the Ojibwe gather the maple sap. They boil it down. They make maple sugar that they store in birch bark containers. Now they can enjoy a sweet treat all year long. And here is a picture of somebody collecting maple sap. And here are some questions. Here is lesson 4. It says, gifts from the tribes. Think about this while you read. Do the tribes still touch our lives today? Stories and legends. Do you like a good story? The tribes do. They give us some fine stories and legends. They tell legends and history to their children. This way, they keep facts and stories about their past alive. Long ago, the tribes did not use writing. They joined around campfires. They told about the past. In their tradition, winter was the time to share in this way. Some of their legends are now written for all of us to read. The Ojibwe tell a legend about a man who did magic. He also played tricks on people. In the 1820s, Henry Schoolcraft heard this story. Mr. and Mrs. Schoolcraft lived in the Upper Peninsula. Henry's wife Jane was Ojibwe. She helped him gather stories from her tribe. The Schoolcrafts felt a need to write these stories. They did not want the legends to be forgotten over time. Later, a famous writer read the stories. He was Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. He was not from Michigan. He was not a Native American either. Longfellow changed one legend to sound like a long poem. He also changed the name of the hero to Hiawatha. We are not sure why he did this. He called what he wrote the Song of Hiawatha. Many people like his poem. In it, Hiawatha's grandmother sends him to find an evil warrior. Hiawatha goes off in his canoe. When the two men meet, there is a big fight. The warrior is strong and protected by a coat made of seashells. At first, Hiawatha cannot hurt him. Then a woodpecker speaks to him. The bird tells him where to aim his arrows. In the end, Hiawatha wins. Indian legends often have an animal with magical powers. This talking bird is an example. There was a real man named Hiawatha. He lived in the 1500s. He was not from Michigan. The real Hiawatha was a leader of the Mohawk tribe. He taught how to plant crops and heal the sick. Guidelines to live by. The tribes know people need rules to live by. Some legends include rules. One of these is the 7 grandfathers and the little boy. The story starts long ago. At the time, the Ojibwe had many problems. There were often sick people. The legend tells of 7 spirits. They were called the 7 grandfathers. These spirits are to watch over the earth's people. A young boy is brought to the 7 grandfathers. They want the boy to help the earth's people. Each spirit gives the boy a gift of wisdom. He is to go back to his tribe. Then he will share the things he learned. Here are the gifts they gave the boy. To seek knowledge is to know wisdom. To know love is to know peace. To honor all creation is to have respect. Bravery is to face the enemy with honor. Honesty is to face a tough problem. It has to be brave. Humility is to know yourself as a sacred part of creation. Truth is to know all these things. An otter guides the boy back. Because of this, the otter is still very special to the Ojibwe. The trip is a long one. By the time the boy returned, he's an old man. Then he tells the wisdom given to him. After that, the tribes have less sickness and live better lives. To learn more about legends, talk to a Native American. Find one who really knows about them. Perhaps your class may visit a Native American center. One of these is Nokomis Learning Center in Okemos. There is another one of Mount Pleasant. Its name is Zeebeewing Center. Food and crops. The next time you bite into a warm, buttery ear of corn, think about the tribes. They were the first to grow it. The corn the tribe grew had smaller ears than today's corn. They were no pumpkin pie without the tribes. They were the first to grow corn and pumpkins. They were also the first to grow squash and beans. Tobacco was also one of their crops. It was new to people of Europe when they got there. Europe is a group of countries. Look on the map and you'll find them across the Atlantic Ocean. Inventions. Do you know what an invention is? It is an idea or something no one has thought of before. Have you ever paddled a canoe? Did you go down a swift river? The tribes invented this type of boat. Michigan's first people spent years learning how to make them just right. It is hard to walk in the deep snow. Have you ever tried it? When there was deep snow, the Native Americans had a way to walk over it. Their invention is the snowshoe. It lets people walk on top of the snow. Have you ever gone down a hill or a sled? Traveling on snow led to another invention. This was the toboggan. Today it is used to have fun. The Indians used it for work. The toboggan let them move more belongings over snow. The tribe used bow and arrow, but this had been invented and used in other parts of the world too. Names. Do you remember that the tribes gave us the name of our state? Michigan comes from the word Michi and Gamma. They mean Great Lake or Big Water. Other Michigan names come from words used by the tribes. Mackinac is one. It comes from the word that means great turtle. The tribes felt that the island looked like a big turtle in the water. Mackinac Island is between our two peninsulas. Look at the map on the next page. Several Michigan cities have Native American names. Here are 5. Kalamazoo means boiling water. Menominee means rice gatherers. Muskegon means marsh. Pontiac means a chief's name. Saginaw, named after the Sauk tribe. Did you know 26 countries have names from tribes? Muskegon and Washtenaw are just 2 of them. See the map on the next page. The tribes helped to make our state what it is. They have passed on to us things that are part of our lives now. They have shared their legends. They have shared their foods. They have shared their inventions and names. Native Americans are not people of the past. They live in all parts of Michigan today. Native Americans live in cities and on farms. They may be artists, business people, farmers, or teachers. And this is the page that they were saying you guys can look at. You can see Kalamazoo's right here. Here are some questions. We're going to stop there, and our next reading is going to be chapter 3, and we're going to talk about the French fur traders. I hope you enjoyed this. Bye-bye.